My lifestyle before coming to the church was quite a reckless one. I used to go out clubbing every night. I used to lie in bed most of the day. I wasn't working, and I hadn't worked for about 15 years. I didn't have any goals or any ambition in life. I didn't really know where I was going. I wasn't going anywhere. So my addiction started when I was about 13, 14, when I started smoking at school. My friend introduced me to cigarettes, and because I was such a depressed teenager, I just took it on, and we used to spend our dinner money on cigarettes, and we used to go and smoke in the, there was a park near my school. We used to go and smoke in the park, and we used to get through, I think, a packet of 20 cigarettes a day between us. That was at the age of 13, 14, and that continued, and I smoked on and off until I was about 30, 35. I carried on smoking for about a good 20 years. And then later on, when I stopped smoking, I became addicted to clubbing. I used to go out practically every single night, if not 7 nights a week, then at least 6 nights a week. I used to go out clubbing because I was addicted to dancing. When I was on the dance floor, I felt really happy. I felt like a buzz and excitement, which I didn't have yet the rest of the time. So I would be in nightclubs every single night. My addiction was triggered by, there was a loneliness in my heart. And what happened was I decided to join an evening class for Latin American dancing, salsa and merengue. And when I learned, I just went to the club to see how it was. And from the time I went there, I loved the buzz, I loved the excitement. So I just started going every single night. I just became addicted. There was a lot of people addicted like me, and we would just go from one club to the other every single night. There wasn't a night, maybe there was one night in the week I didn't go out, but then I would just feel depressed and I'd just wait for the following night. I'd go about 11, 12, and I'd come home about 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. My lowest point was when I stood on the edge of King's Cross Underground Station, and I really wanted to jump in the underground because I was just feeling so low, so depressed. Because I'd met someone at the nightclub, and he'd kind of like ditched me, and I just couldn't carry on. I just didn't know what to do with my life. And it was like, I couldn't get that buzz, that excitement. It was like no matter what I did, I just wanted to kill myself. I didn't want to carry on living anymore. That was really my lowest point. When I came to the help centre, after a few sessions, like in the beginning, I was still going out. I was going to a nightclub. I thought everything was fine. And then one of the advisors said to me that I shouldn't be going to the nightclub. I can't really mix the two. But for me, it was really difficult to stop because that was the life I'd made for myself. I couldn't just stop and, just stop going there. So what I would do, I would come dressed in shorts or a mini skirt, and I'd have a long raincoat over the top. And I'd take part in the service. And then the minute the service ended, on the way home, I'd stop off and I'd go to the clubs in central London. And then in the morning I'd go back home. So I carried on for quite a few months because I didn't have the strength to stop. I couldn't stop because I enjoyed both. I enjoyed coming for the meetings to the church, but I also enjoyed my clubbing and my nightlife outside. So I didn't want to trade one for the other. So I just carried on. I've been free from this addiction, it must be about 16 years now. I don't go to clubs anymore. I'm not addicted anymore to dancing or anything like that. But it was so crazy because in the beginning, I'll never forget that I came for a meeting for a church service, and during the offering, they gave me a free Bible. And I remember I was so happy to receive this Bible, and I put it in my pocket in my raincoat, and I went to the nightclub and I lost it in the nightclub. So the following morning I rang the nightclub and I said to them, have you found my Bible? I lost a Bible in the nightclub. And they just said to me, we don't do Bibles, and they put the phone down on me. I think they were quite, annoyed that I would even bring a Bible in the nightclub, but that's how bad the addiction was. And I remember feeling really, really upset that I lost this brand new Bible that I was given as a gift. But I just couldn't stop, I couldn't balance it. But now, thank God, I'm free. I'm completely free. If anyone's in my situation, I would say to them, you can be free from your addiction. But obviously it's a process, but the first thing is you have to want to be free. You have to want it in your mind, because when I finally made a decision that I didn't want this way of life, then, you know, obviously I asked God for strength to help me, and He helped me. And I was able to cut the dancing, I was able to cut the smoking, because the smoking I would smoke on and off. I was able to cut everything because God gave me the strength to be able to do what I couldn't do on my own. So, you know, anybody who's in my situation, don't give up on yourself. There is help available. You can be free. You can have a happy life. Because before I wasn't happy, even though I smoked, even though I danced, even though I went clubbing, I was not happy. I was the most miserable person. I would wake up in the morning and I would cry. I would go to bed crying, but now I don't have any addictions. I don't rely on anything to make me happy, and now I'm happy on my own. I am Ashkhen, and that was my story.